Well, hello. My name is Danny. I'm with the Mob Rules podcast, and today I'm going to be doing another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today we're going to be reviewing Psychic Awakening 4 or 5. I don't know. It's like a number.
Yeah.
Saga of the Beast. This details the Space Wolves and Orc rules and their upgrades. And today I'm going to be joined by Jon. Jon's going to be in the background yelling.
Off microphone.
Absolutely. And so this particular review is going to be going over the rules for the Space Wolf faction. So again, as per most of our other, or all of our other reviews, we're going to be skipping right past the fluff. You guys can read that on your own. It's fantastic fluff. Highly encourage you to do so. It talks about the valorous Space Wolves and the dastardly orcs. They're not dastardly. They're just misunderstood. They're orking. But yep, we're going to go over the rules for the Space Wolves faction. So first of all, Sons of the Wolf King is the first section here, and this details basically what this talks about. What we're going to be going over today. So we're going to be looking at their new and updated units, new Battleforged army abilities, also the new stratagems, which are fantastic. And then they will also, Space Wolves got Litanies of Battle, which is a big deal. And then new Relics of the Fang that you can see. And then finally, we're going to generate our own Space Wolves character using the random name generator. Are you ready for that, Jon? Oh. Jon's just going to toss dice at me. That's cool. All right.
That means yes.
All right. So the first thing, obviously, Space Wolves, just like every other Space Marine chapter, are getting Angels of Death. They're getting in. They already have it on their Show No Fear. They already had Bolter Discipline. They already had Shock Assault. What do they get now? That's right, guys. Combat Doctrine. So your Space Wolves units are going to get Devastator, Tactical, and Assault Doctrines. And remember that these are a 4th cycle now, so that they will go through the normal process as per the new Marine FAQ. They also updated some of the new weapons and the changes that were made to some of the things when the Space Wolf, when the Space Marine Codex got released. So, the updated auto bolt rifle, demolisher cannon, flamestorm cannon, that kind of stuff. First things first, we have the Ragnar Blackmane, the new Ragnar Blackmane, Primaris Ragnar, if you will.
Sans dogs.
Yeah, sorry dogs, no doggos for him. He's more of a cat person now, actually, is what I heard. His stat line has changed a little bit. Obviously, he got an extra wound for being primarified, and then he also got like 2 more attacks, which is pretty good. In addition to getting 2 more attacks, he also, as previewed, he got the Berserker Rage rule. So when he shock assaults 3 times. So he gets 3 extra attacks instead of just 1. So that brings him.
Shook.
He's so shook. So that gives him 10 attacks, which is pretty gnarly. This combos up well with a bunch of different Space Marine stratagems, especially the one seeking a Saga, because he's only power level 6. So if he's fighting something that has a larger, bigger power level than him, he can reroll to wound rolls. So 10 attacks, rerolling, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, and then strength 6, minus 4 AP, which is pretty gnarly, and then 2 flat damage, rerolling potentially wound rolls, pretty good. He also gives a couple of buffs to units within 6 inches of him. He gives them Battle Lust and War Howl. Now, Battle Lust at first glance seems incredibly powerful, but it's kind of worded very strangely. So when a friendly Space Wolves unit within 6 inches of this model and not within 3 inches of an enemy model consolidates, it can move 6 inches instead of 3 inches. So remember that you pile in and then consolidate after you've fought. So that means if no other enemy units are within 3 inches of them, they can move 6 inches instead of 3. This probably isn't going to help you wrap stuff unless you are killing something small and have a bunch of guys like positioned to potentially wrap a unit that you're not actually fighting. But then again, if they're not within 3 inches, of that other unit, so I don't know. It seems like it's probably pretty circumstantial that you'll get to use an ability like this. Potentially kind of cool if you charge in a unit and then also charge in Ragnar at the same time, so that Ragnar kills the unit and then the other unit gets to pile in and consolidate 6 inches, so they get a 9-inch move, which is pretty cool. He also gives the War Howl ability, so you can reroll charge rolls for Space Wolves units other than vehicles within 6 inches of him. That's very good. And then, of course, he's a captain, so he hits reroll 1s for Space Wolves units, and then also 4+ invulnerable save. So he's really good. I think he's really solid. He's only 120 points. So I feel like you're going to be seeing Primaris Ragnar quite a bit on the table if you're playing Space Wolves. They also updated the Wolf Priest data sheets, basically giving them the Priest ability or block, and telling you how that works. And it's the same as all other Chaplain models, basically. One interesting thing in here is that they didn't actually put in the rules for Ulrich the Slayer, who is like the head Wolf Priest of the Space Wolves. So yeah, I guess he just stays the same and lets Space Wolf units within 6 inches reroll to hit rolls in combat.
Maybe
all the time.
He goes the way of the wolves.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He sacrificed himself too.
Well, he just got a new model a little bit ago, so I think it was probably a mistake that they just didn't put his data sheet in here. So they updated that. They put in the Wolf Lord and Phobos armor and Primaris Battle Lever in Phobos armor, as well as the Rune Priest. They did the updated Intercessors sheet, so you can give him Thunder Hammers and stuff like that. Also, Infiltrators and Cursors, Eliminators and Victors, Suppressors, Repulsor Executioner, and Impulsor. So all the stuff that the Space Marine Codex basically added as far as new units go. All right, and then you have the next section, which is called the Lords of Winter and War. This section gives new rules if you're entirely Space Wolves. So if your faction is if your detachment is all Space Wolves, then you get Hunters Unleashed, which gives you the 6-inch heroic intervention and +1 to hit in the first round of combat. So you get that just if you're Space Wolves, and then you also get Savage Fury if your whole army is Space Wolves. And what this does is when the Assault Doctrine is active, any hit roll of 6 made for an attack by a melee weapon scores an extra hit on the enemy. With the amount of attacks that a Space Wolf army can generate, especially through Blood Claws, Veteran Intercessors, just even regular Intercessors, their characters swing a lot of attacks. Basically giving them all the Whirlwind of Rage Successor Chapter tactic is very powerful. So I think I feel like it's a pretty good super doctrine. It's depending on like which characters you look at it from a mathematical perspective. It's like roughly the same as Savage Echoes from Blood Angels. It's probably a little bit worse on units that have less attacks. So the more attacks you have, the better it is than +1 attack. The less attacks you have, the less good it is, and it's better if you aren't getting full rerolls as well, just because again, the more attacks you get. So yeah, it's pretty solid, I think. Overall. Yeah. And there's even a way that you can improve it.
What?
Yeah, shocking. All right, so next we have the Vanguard Warlord traits. These are the same. They just have updated them to be in line with the Space Marine Codex, so you can't use the Phobos traits on non-Phobos units. So no giving your Wolfen just +1 to advance and charge. Sorry, Space Wolves. Not sorry. All right, so then you have Duty Eternal. Or I'm sorry, the Space Wolf stratagems. So these are the ones on this page are exactly the same as the ones in Codex Space Marine. So you've got Duty Eternal, Bolt Storm, Rapid Fire, Big Guns Never Tire, Hero of the Chapter, Hammer of Wrath, and Veteran Intercessors. All of those are exactly the same as you know them and love them from other Space Marine chapters. So let's move on, and we'll just go into some of the Space Wolf specific ones. So you have Fury of the Champions. This is the same as Fury of the First. It's just the Space Wolves don't really have a first company, kind of. So this just basically lets you pick a Space Wolf Terminator unit, and they get +1 to hit in whatever phase. Yeah, super solid. So this stacks too with Space Wolves +1 to hit. So your guys with Power Fist or Thunder Hammers are just going to be hitting on 2s with the stratagem effect, which is pretty solid. Then you have one of the first 0-piece CP stratagems, which is interesting. Yeah, I think it is. And this one is when you use it in the fight phase, when an enemy character is destroyed by an attack made by a Space Wolves model in your army, get a command point. Solid. That's really good. Yeah, sure. Kill those characters. You are the executioners, right? Then you have Countercharge. This is a 1 CP strat. In your opponent's charge phase, select a Space Wolves unit. and they get to perform a heroic intervention as if they were a character, and they get to move 6 inches instead of 3 inches. Very good. Very good. So, like, don't just charge something next to Wolfen or something like that if you want to try and fight them, because you'll probably fight the Wolfen too, unless you're pretty clever. Let's see.
I am not.
Yeah. me too, usually. All right, then you have Crushing Assault. So this is for Thunderwolf Cavalry. When they finish a charge move, roll a d6 for every model in the unit. Within 1 inch of that model, and then on a 2+, they take a mortal wound. I think this is a really good stratagem. If you have a unit of 6 Thunderwolves and they all make it into combat, chances are you're probably going to be doing 4 or 5 mortal wounds right off the bat. So that seems very good. Yeah, super solid. Then you've got a Touch of the Wild. So this is a 1 CP stratagem for a Space Wolves character. GW did preview this one. Basically, an unmodified hit roll of 4+ scores an extra hit. So like Ragnar with his 10 attacks, typically he's going to be hitting 15 times, 14 or 15 times. So that's very powerful. Then you have Vicious Executioners. This is probably my favorite stratagem in the entire book. So Vicious Executioners, when you fight with a Wolfguard unit, so Wolfguard unit being the Wolfguard and Power Armor, Wolfguard Terminators, also Thunderwolf Cavalry, whenever they attack an infantry unit, anytime they roll an unmodified wound roll of 6, they do a mortal wound in addition to other damage. So I see this being particularly good in a unit of Terminators with Lightning Claws. Just like the amount of attacks that you can throw out, like 5 or 6 attacks per model potentially. Yeah. Hitting on 2s, re-rolling, and then wounding on like 3s or 4s, re-rolling 2 wound rolls means you're probably going to get a bunch of 6s. So I think you can do a ton of damage. Plus, this is really good, especially if you're assaulting a bunch of different units, for you to pick up some extra wounds on them. Like if you want to put a couple of these models into like dudes with like characters and that kind of stuff, like weaker characters, it's pretty easy to finish them off with just by weight of saves, and then also a couple of mortal wounds probably. So pretty nice. Then you have Pack Hunters. This is a 1 CP stratagem for Fenrisian Wolves or Cyber Wolves. You use it whenever they're chosen to fight with until the end of the phase when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit. If the unit is within 3 inches of Space Wolves infantry or cavalry units, you can re-roll their hit rolls.
That's really good.
Yeah, so like a big unit of 15 Fenrisian Wolves, just getting like, 4 attacks a piece or something like that. That's like 60 attacks that re-roll to hit. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Let's see here. So the Storm Strike stratagem, not bad. Shoot with a Stormfang gunship from your army. Till the end of the phase when resolving an attack made by the Hellfrost Destructor, add 1 to the hit, wound, and damage rolls. So that's pretty solid. That's like a goodly amount of damage that you can do just from that. And from a model that you don't see a lot of play with. In addition, some of the other stratagems, like Vengeance of the Machine Spirit, works on the Stormfang gunships now as well, which is pretty cool. Gene Rot Might is the same for everybody. It's just Primaris Infantry. 6 is to hit, auto wound. Target Sighted is the sniper stratagem for intercessors. It was Hunter Slayer Missile is the Hunter Killer Missile for repulsors that existed. Skilled Riders is pretty good. Again, from the Space Marine Codex, though. You got Death Grip Bite, which they previewed. So this gives Thunderwolf Cavalry damage 2 for 1 CP. So that's pretty good. So there's like potentially 3 different stratagems that all work on Thunderwolf Cavalry. So I think they're really trying to improve them. I feel for them. There may be a couple of points overpriced, but I think they're pretty viable now. I think 1 unit of 6 is a good choice. You got Steady Advance. This lets you count as not moving when shooting for Bolter Discipline, which is pretty good. Transhuman Physiology, and note that this does work on any Space Wolves unit that's not a vehicle or servitors. So this does work on Thunderwolf Cav. This does work on Wolfen. So that's pretty nasty. Then you've got Skyfire and Mention the Machine Spirit. Again, these are the same as this Space Marine Codex. So except for Vengeance of the Machine Spirit, works on Storm Wolves and Stormfang gunships as well.
Nice.
So that was kind of a nice little twist to that. So as far as like brand new stratagems that are only Space Wolves get, it looks like you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new stratagems. No, 8 new stratagems. No, 9 new stratagems. Yep, 9 new stratagems. So that's cool. Yep. I think any Space Wolves player is going to be pretty happy with that. Especially being able to give extra sagas to your characters through the Hero of the Chapter rule. So that's pretty cool. One thing I thought was really interesting, we'll go... so we've got the Obscuration Discipline and Litanies of Battle. Again, Space Wolves getting normal litanies. They get the new one that they previewed, the Tale of the Wolf King and the Lord of the Deeps. This gives a unit +1 to their damage characteristic against vehicles or monsters. That's really powerful. Turning even like your normal chainswords and stuff into damage 2 is really good. Just with the weight of attacks that Space Wolves can throw out, or just making your Thunderhammer mastercrafted and throwing that in there, and then getting damage 5 Thunderhammer is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have Relics of the Fang. Now they did not break these up into special issue war gear or anything else, because Space Wolves don't have successor chapters. So you're either Space Wolves or get out of here. So they added a lot of new abilities here, which is great. Or a lot of new options. So you've got Mountain Breaker Helm. So the fluff on this is hilarious. It's a specially designed headbutting helmet. And so you can basically at the after you fight, but before you consolidate, if there's any enemies within an inch of you, roll a d6. On a 2+, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. If you destroy a character and the bearer is your warlord, so if you kill a character with your warlord with this item, you count as having performed their deed of legend, for their saga to be the aura.
Warlocks, watch out.
Yeah, which is pretty. Yeah. Watch out, guys, because you might take some mortal wounds from that, from getting headbutted into the ground. Talisman of Storms is after you resolving the first psychic power in your psychic phase, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 12 inches. On a 4+, they take a mortal wound. You've got Worm Splitter. They preview this axe. This is a pretty good. It's a power axe, +1 strength, -2 AP, 2 flat damage. So that's already an upgrade. And then if you're attacking a monster or vehicle, it's damage 4. So neat. That's pretty cool. So again, you can stack that with some other stuff to make it like damage 5 against those things. So a nice no modifier to hit Thunderhammer style damage coming from that guy. Then you have Storm Song. So this is a mastercrafted Stalker Bolt rifle. So this is for a Phobos captain. 36-inch range, heavy 1 instead of assault 1. So that's different. Strength 6 instead of strength 4. That's pretty nice. -3 AP instead of -2. Also an upgrade. And then flat damage 3, and you can target characters if they're not the closest model. It's okay. I mean, it's fine. Nothing to really write home about, I would say, but it's still pretty solid. Strength 6 over strength 4 is a big deal.
Yeah. So you have a command point to waste on a lieutenant or whatever a Space Wolf lieutenant is with a gun.
For sure. Yeah, that's true too. Wolfguard Battle Leader.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you have Weird Bane. This is for a mastercrafted Stalker Bolt rifle. Sorry, so this is a Primaris Wolf Lord or a Primaris Battle Leader. That's a decent choice for a Battle Leader. That's a good point, John.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just hide him out in a ruin.
Yeah, totally.
Pop.
Have him snipe somebody out. That's cool. I like it. All right, so then you have Weird Bane. So this is a runic sword. So this is for a Rune Priest. It replaces the runic sword with a +1 strength, -4 AP D3 damage. So you've got 2 stats that are better. In addition, you reroll fail to wound rolls, and if it attacks a psyker, you get damage 3. I think that's solid. If you want to give your Rune Priest like an upgraded melee weapon, I think that's very good. Very, very much worth taking, I would say. Then you've got Adamantine Mantle, which is 5+, feel no pain. They changed the Artificer armor to runic armor, but it's the same thing. Then you have Morkai's Teeth Bolts. This is a really cool weapon, actually. So you shoot it, you make 1 attack. If it hits, the target takes 1 mortal wound. That's pretty good all on its own, right? But then the unit becomes marked by Morkai, and when resolving an attack against that unit, reroll 2 wound rolls of 1. So basically, you can use this like even on like a Wolfguard Battle Leader with a bolter, right? Just to shoot somebody, And then he gets to extend the range of his ability out to the table wide against that one unit. So I think that's really solid. I can definitely see that one being taken. Then you've got Mastercrafted Weapon, Digital Weapons, those are the same. You've got the Companion's Blade. So this is a Power Sword or Mastercrafted Power Sword. So it's +2 Strength, -3 AP, 2 flat damage. So already either you're getting a Strength bonus or you're getting a Strength bonus and a damage bonus, which are both really good. And if you're within 3 inches of another friendly Space Wolf character, you can reroll 2 wound rolls with it. I think that's really solid. That's a good weapon. Especially if you're going to like tag team people with characters. And Space Wolves, they should have a lot of characters anyway because characters are good. And then finally we have the Wolf Tail Talisman. When psychic tests are taken for an enemy model within 18 inches of your army with this relic, subtract 2 from the result. So kind of like a Brazier of Holy Fire. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. All right. They also did include points for all Space Wolf stuff in here. So if you want, so this gives you like a good list of points. It also has Ragnar in here. So as you can see, Ragnar is now 120 points. A solid deal. A very solid deal.
So like after the Dark Angels, when they forgot to put the guy's points in, they just like put all the points in. Everyone's points.
Make sure the points are in there, guys. All right, John. Okay. Time to generate a Space Wolves character. All right, so this is for what? Tens or
tens.
All right.
Oh,
4, 3. 43. Brannick. Yep. All right, and let's get a surname going here.
66.
Oh man, Gunhilt.
Brannick Gunhilt.
Yep. So does that mean he has like a gun sword? I don't know.
I don't know.
You know what?
I think he is a Lecter Count of the old Empire.
Time to write that and time to make forge that narrative, John.
Oh, I'm gonna forge.
Okay.
He is a master of swords. The name is ironic.
Hilarious. All right, guys. So that kind of goes over the new rules for Space Wolves from Psychic Awakening, Saga of the Beast. If you really enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on anywhere fine podcasts are found to listen to our daily hobby goings on and reviews of various different GW products. Yeah, and if you really liked us, feel free. Hey! Come on, none of that now. Wow, man, that is aggressive favoritism there. Anyway, thanks for tuning in then, guys. We will see you next time.